There's actually always a quest that you can do to make the vendors sell at lower rates. And we're actually going to make use of that, believe it or not. Thanks to this guy.
I've heard that you are responsible for banishing Andariel back to the burning hells. I'm impressed, stranger. That couldn't have been easy. My name is Drognan, and I know what you're up against, my friend. You ought to look over my inventory of items for trade.
I really ought to. For example, his selection of wands. Drognan, one of the wands that... Oh man, look at that. Whew. One of the wands that he sells is eventually going to be the very thing that I want. Because I can have up to 3 mods on them. And then have even better things. Let me see... Well, for example, the Grave Robber's Wand of the Bat. That +1 to summoning skills would put an additional point in all of the summoning skills that I have. It wouldn't grant me any additional skills, but that is a lot of stuff all at once. And considering it can also have an auto mod that, say, adds +3 to raise skeleton, Drognan can eventually have the very, very best stuff for me in this difficulty. Probably in the next couple difficulties, too. Now, since we picked up the Horadric Scroll, Decker Can is going to have some stuff to tell us. It isn't actually technically necessary to pick this up. It's just kind of neat. You're never screwed out of quests. Well, actually...
The lost Horadric Scroll! What a fortunate turn of events! As the last living Horadrim, I alone have knowledge of its meaning. Now, to read the Horadric runes it bears. The Horadric mages, after binding Bale within Tal Rasha, magically sealed off his burial chamber from the mortal realm.
Are you just reading the scroll to me?
Also crafted fearsome Horadric staves.
I'll bet he is.
Them with the special power to open the chamber's hidden door. After nearly losing one to the thievery of a rogue sorcerer, they divided all the Horadric staves into 2 parts, wooden shaft and metal headpiece, hiding them separately to safeguard them. The Horadrim foresaw our current plight and designed the hiding places to reveal themselves to worthy heroes like you. Collect both parts of a Horadric staff and unite them using a Horadric Cube. Then you may enter Tal Rasha's burial chamber.
So yeah, that part about them revealing themselves to us is an outright lie. We have to go find them ourselves.
How may I help you?
You may help me by offloading this junk. Ooh, look at that. Sell value 10,000. That means we actually want to hold on to this one. Whenever you're in an act, there's a maximum amount of money that vendors will give you for items. In the case of Act 1 normal, it's 5,000, and it increases by 5,000 every additional act you travel to. So if I wait to sell this until next act, it might be worth 5 or 10,000 more. And, you know, I'm not using my stash space for anything else. I think it's time to finally stop having fun with my better chance of magic items. We're about to go into the desert, and that means some bad things for my crackling flesh. Oh, and finally we also want to spend our new skill point, right? I think we still have, yep, another raised skeleton point. We are almost up to 8. That is a mighty high amount of Daves. Okay, so my trick wasn't worth all that much, but Jaren is still... Yep.
Greetings.
He'll walk right out to see me. Come this way. Come further this way. Okay, he has a max chase distance or something. Let's talk to him. How you doing?
Greetings, honored traveler. I am Jaren, Lord of Lut Gholein, and I bid you welcome to my fair port city. I'm glad to know that once again, caravans are free to travel through the Western Pass. For some time now, we have been under siege by an evil power that I cannot identify. Strange, it all began when a dark wanderer came this way, looking for the tomb of Talrasha. No one knows exactly where Talrasha, keeper of Baal, is entombed, but it is certain to be far out in the desert.
Far out.
Now my people whisper tales of the dead rising from their tombs, and horrible creatures lurking amongst the moonlit dunes. Even
That's
I
just
have
pillow
heard
talk,
things
baby.
which I cannot explain. I've ordered the port closed and all trade ships moored until I am sure that my city is safe. Atma, the tavern keeper, has an important mission for you. Go see her immediately. You'll find her on the other side of town. Now I must return to the palace. I apologize, but I can't invite you in. Things are rather a mess right now. I have heard of your many deeds of skill and bravery. I feel I can trust you with something I have been hesitant.
I have heard of your many deeds in this conversation.
The dark wanderer who passed through here recently was Diablo himself. Drognin believes that Diablo is
Gasp.
searching the desert for the secret tomb where the great Horadric mage Talrasha keeps Baal imprisoned. You must find Diablo and put an end to the terrible
Next to the
evil
mighty
that's fallen
Diablo
upon our city.
burrito.
Drognin is wise.
Burrito
and is sure to
Diablo.
have some helpful advice for you as to how Talrasha's tomb may be found. It may take you quite some time to find the tomb. May you be ready when you do.
Alright, well, thanks for that, Jaren. That gives us our next quest. In fact, our last quest in this act, find Talrasha's tomb. Of course, this one is more pressing, because it will give us access to the best item in any game. Oh, there are little beetles in town, but you cannot squish them. They're unsquishable. It's kind of cool, actually. Look at that guy. Look at him go. Oh, where'd he go? I love it. Alrighty, well, it's time to finally say goodbye to Paige. She's had a good run, but it's time for you to retire, lady. Time to hire a mercenary.
I bet you wonder how this town manages to stay safe with all the trouble going on out in the desert. Well, I can tell you that it's got nothing to do with the local town guards. They're all in the palace for some reason. Jaren hired me and my mercenaries to help keep the peace around here. We're not cheap, but we're the best this wasteland has to offer.
I disagree. I think you are pretty cheap, comparatively. Alright. Ugh. Well, level 13 is more or less what we want. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that's a combat aura. I'm going to want either the combat or the offensive aura. I'm pretty sure that offensive is what I want, but they are lower levels, which will actually impair their ability to gain levels. Yeah, let's go by the name then. Ooh, Zanari. I like that better, a lot better than Lahara's. Well, time to hire Zanari. Yes, it will replace my current one. Goodbye, Paige. Hello, Zanari. Now, he is a different minion type, so he can't use the bow.
I can't use that.
He can still use the armor
To good use.
and the hat, and these are okay for him. Zanari is going to get his hands dirty, though. He is a melee character. Has a little jab attack with a tiny bit of reach. But really, he's getting down and dirty right next to Dave. Arm in skeletal arm. Which probably means that we want to find something for him. And the best place probably be Elzix.
Ah, you must be one of the new heroes who've come to rid our city of evil. Under any other circumstances, I'd be surprised to see one of your kind in the city. But lately... Oh, never mind all that. You know, I used to be quite the scoundrel in my day, I led the fiercest group of bandits who ever terrorized these sands.
You sound like it.
Nowadays, I run this here inn and pretty much stay out of trouble. My days of adventuring are behind me.
Well, let's hope your days of selling me a good polearm for Zanari are ahead of you. Okay, well, what do we got? Spear of Slaying. Mana stolen. 38 and 40 strength required on the 3 to 22. Yeah, I think that Spear of Slaying is worthwhile. We want him to have something.
I'll put that to good use.
I mean, most of his damage is coming from the hat. 20 poison damage? Shish. Anyway, he needs to gain a level before he'll be able to turn on his best feature. And now we venture out, finally, but finally, into the damn desert and the sand. We have some vultures there. We'll be seeing them for quite some time to come. Ooh, good clean skeleton. Finally. Yeah, here they go. Good work, Zanari. Glad you're on the team. Gonna have to find some better armor for him pretty soon. Again, going on the fact that... oh! There he is. So, Zanari has turned on his aura. This one is the prayer aura, which gradually heals all of my skeletons. It also makes that annoying humming noise. Ah, the sand leapers. Originally, they were planned to have a burrowing move, but they couldn't get that to quite work, so they changed it to a leaping one. That's okay, all told. Ah, and now the reason I put on the hat that I did. Dung soldiers are not lightning enchanted. Rather, they just sort of get that as an innate ability. You're going to encounter a lot of them, and they're going to deal a lot of lightning damage to you. So that hat, which is giving me, what, all of my lightning resist? Oh, well, not all of it, but some. It's going to be really helpful. Because Dave can't stop it all. So I will certainly let him try. Oh, I'm down a Dave, aren't I? That's bad on me. Oh, ugh. Guard corpse. Zanari, buddy, you need to pick up the pace. Don't leave Dave stranded out there. Come on. Oh, another guard corpse. Eventually, his aura radius will be large enough that we don't have to hear it activating and deactivating all the time like that. While we're within a certain number of yards from him, we'll have the aura active. It's probably okay for now because I don't need attack rating. That would be the combat aura. In Act 2, I'll be able to get a mercenary with a different aura still, and that's probably the one that we're going to carry with us for the rest of the game. For now, though, we're going to stick with Zanari for the entirety of this difficulty level. Oh, look, the Stony Tomb. We want the Halls of the Dead, though, so Stony Tomb is going to be a bonus dungeon. Ah, Skill Shrine. We haven't come across one of those yet. That will raise all of the skills that you have by 2. So if I take a look at mine, I'm now up to 19 points in Raised Skeleton. I have 8 Daves. So for as long as I have this Skill Shrine on, I'll be able to rock out with 8 skeletal minions.
I need mana. Not enough mana. I need mana.
There we go. Now, at this point with the prayer aura, my skeletons are more or less immortal. The usual trade-off of the prayer aura, which is a paladin ability, is that you spend mana while it's going. Of course, Zanari doesn't have mana, so he just gets to have it all the time. Now an L rune. Well, that's actually something. That is one that we wanted for a reason that we will see a little later. Let's see, how much later, I wonder? 1, 2, 3... This is 24. Okay, much later. Daves for days. Oh, look, a scorpion. Isn't it cute? Look at that little guy. Oh, they're all over the place. Careful not to step on them, you'll squish them. That would be a shame. I sure would hate it if some giant thing stepped on me and I was squished. Thankfully, Dave steps lightly, as does Zanari, so they will not ever squish scarabs or worms, scorpions, all the other little creepy crawlies out in the desert. Oh, you were a special guy. Fanatic. Oh, right. So, I didn't really notice this, but that was a fanatic monster. They come along with champions sometimes. They have increased damage and attack rate, even beyond that of champions. They're somewhat squishier, though. Which is to say, still more powerful than a regular monster of that kind. That was a new thing with the expansion pack. Still a good game after all these years. It debuted around 2000. Depending on when you count the release or pre-order date or whatever. Blizzard kept releasing content for it for 10 years. Patches, fixes, updates. One expansion with fixes to that. The most substantial changes happened around the 110 patch. This was after the expansion pack existed. 110 changed everything. Almost became a different game, really. A lot of the old glitches got patched out pretty soon, though. So, for instance, you used to be able to exploit the fact that your summoned minions counted as monsters. They would even drop loot in some circumstances. You can probably see why this was deleterious. Players having loot generation engines having nothing to do with killing enemies was something they just couldn't stand. No, no, no. You must click on your monsters for your food. Well, I'm subverting that, at least. I'm keeping Dave healthy. Frankly, that's probably more important for Zanari himself. He has something of a lesser regeneration rate than Dave. I think less health, too. Let's see. 184 compared to... Where's your health? Life, 166. Yeah. Yep. Not as much health as my skeletons. I mean, we have been cranking Dave's pretty hard, though. Oh, good. Dry Hills waypoint. Well, this is eventually where we want to be. I didn't bother getting the waypoint in the sewers, so we never really want to go back there. Steel Grin. Ah, this is not very intuitive, but Stone Skin means he has a boosted defense rating and damage reduction. It's both of those, so you can't really rely on one or the other. It just makes him tough. And great. A Rondache that we can't use. Rondache. I don't actually know how those are pronounced. Not the expert on medieval weaponry that I rather should be if I'm planning on playing Diablo 2 to the great extent that I am. Though they really dig deep for the weapon names in this. Oop, there we go. I love those thud noises that it makes. It's really homey. We're still in a world where tactical positioning doesn't make all that much of a difference. But you should keep in mind that there are these little ridges out in the desert that you cannot cross. You have to go around them. When in later levels, enemies are singularly more dangerous. That's something to account for. Yep. Halls of the Dead. Come to me. Yeah, probably not in this lower area at all. Alright, well, let's spend our skill point. Let's see about that. Excellent. Another Dave. Another Dave, another dollar. Let's see if I can find another corpse. Almost stepped on a scorpion there. I don't really want that. Nobody wants that. Wait, are you a corpse? Yes, you are. Excellent, excellent. And let's make sure we can use heavier armor since we've started to find it. Ooh, a Volge. Well now. Is this better for you? Yes. By a little bit. It's probably junk. Can't let yourself get bogged down in collecting everything, or else you'll never just get your way through the game. There's just so much stuff to collect, and so much of it is so bad. So. Oop, a lot of scorpions. Gotta be careful about this. Don't want to step on any of those. Huh. Well, how about that? I've gone through the entire area, and I must have missed the one thing that I was supposed to find. Well, there are a couple of slightly less explored areas I might have missed. This is a very important quest. I do not want to skip it. We will not be able to complete the game without it. But that's not why it's so important. Oop. Yep, here we go. That's bad on me. It was right next to the waypoint. Look at that. Halls of the Dead. And I'm bringing to it the Halls of Medicine. These corridors are a fine size, and we found the greater mummies. Oh, dang it. Look at that. Sorry. Poor little thing. Yep, hollow one here is a greater mummy. He's the same kind of monster as Radamant. He's a little more monstrous looking. Oh, there's one. Check that guy out! So cool. He got this big scythe arm. He can breathe poison gas. He can shoot a bolt of darkness. He can resurrect undead near him. He's got a lot to recommend him. Pretty lengthy resume, all told. Okay. The doors are really the choke points in here. I want to be careful about those the same way that we were trying to be careful of the catacombs from the previous act. Superior hunter's bow. If only we still cared about that nonsense. Oh, look at this! Okay, so, this is a mummy sarcophagus. It will continuously produce mummies, the lesser mummies like dried corpse over here. Any monsters produced from a monster generator or monsters resurrected will not give you any drops or experience, so there's really almost no point in having them. They still count as a corpse, and that's a resource, but really you want to kill them as fast as possible. Now, with this monster generator in particular, they can't actually pop out if the door is blocked, so all you have to do is stand in front of it, like this about, and it won't open. Dave more or less takes care of that for me, though. As if that needed saying. Ooh, urns. Let's see what loot we have earned. A trap. In this case, it is somewhat to my advantage just to clear out the urns. As Dave can get stuck behind them sometimes. He will not kick them down for me. Ooh, a zombie head. Oh, yes! Yes! Oh my goodness. +2 to raise skeleton. That is the best. That is the best. I mean, technically it could be better, but man, is that good. 20 points in raised skeleton. Yes, yes, yes. Very happy about that. Oh, he died through the door somehow. Ah, well. It even has 2 sockets, so we might eventually be able to put a cool rune word in this. We're probably going to be able to find something better by the time we have a meaningful rune word to put in the shield, though. Which probably means I should prefer to put other kinds of stuff in it than a rune word. Rune words are some of the most powerful socketed things that you can do. They're some of the best equipment available in the game at all. By socketing runes in a specific order according to a list of rune words that they have, you'll be able to get a greater effect out of them. I actually have the runes right now to be able to create one, so if we find a 2-socketed sword, I will make the steel sword. I guess that doesn't sound all that magical, but it's pretty freaking good. Anyway, there's nothing on Halls of the Dead level 2 I really want. I don't mind skipping that waypoint either. So let's just go on down. Down, down, down. These little guys, desert wings, will hide up in the ceiling. Let me see if we can find one nearby. Well, I guess we already killed them all, but... Anyway, they have a shocking attack, which will deal electrical damage to you. Doesn't sound like all that much, and really it isn't. Later on, there are more powerful palette-swapped versions of the same thing, and they can be kind of dangerous. But they never get all that much more complex, though. If I absolutely needed to, I could crack down on these guys' raising ability by constantly raising the skeletons and spending the corpses that way myself. But, we're not to the point where that matters. Oh, look at this. Blood Witch the Wild. Oh. Blood Witch the Wild Corpse. Sorry about that, I guess. Excuse me. Coming through. Well, this is where we wanted to be. Our destination. Don't mind finding a magic vulge at all. Scimitar! Ooh, ooh, ooh. How about that scimitar? Is that what we wanted? 2 sockets, come on. Yes! Oh.
Thanks.
Poor Zanari has taken quite a great deal of poison damage. You could see his health going down there. If you hold the shift key and click on the appropriate number in your belt here, I'll do shift 1 for instance.
Thanks.
That will give the potion to him, and he will say thanks in a very goofy voice. probably find a replacement potion nearby. And now the most important item in this game, and the best item in any game that I've ever played. This is the Horadric Cube. Among other things, it is an extra bit of inventory space, so right away, we can throw all this crud in there. Yep, in it goes. 12 whole spaces. And it cleans up our inventory, allowing us to take more with us. Oh, the waypoint is right outside of this place, right? So let's pour it on out. Deckard Cain is about to tell us some of the most useless things it can do.
Good to see you. You have quite a treasure there in that Horadric Cube. According to Horadric lore, the cube can restore a Horadric staff. To do it, use the cube as you would a scroll. When the cube opens, place both pieces of the staff into it and use the cube's transmute power. You'll be pleased to know that the cube has other alchemical uses as well. 6 gems plus 1 sword transmute into a socketed longsword. You may also transmute 2 quivers of crossbow bolts into 1 quiver of arrows, while 2 quivers of arrows yield 1 quiver of bolts. I must leave it to you to discover other formulae.
Which is to say, go look up a FAQ online and read them all there.